Okay, so we're here today at Merville and we're going to interview a special coach in pickleball. So, coach, what is your name? Introduce yourself and how long have you been coaching?
I'm Ginny Poblete. I'm a certified PPR coach in the US. And I've been coaching for, let's say, maybe more than a year and a half. And I started pickleball around COVID time in the US. So that's how I discovered because all the courts were closed. So I was invited to go and play outdoors. And I said, everybody wanted to go out. So I tried it. It was hard because I'm a badminton player, but eventually I was able to adopt the game, and that's it. I became addicted to pickleball until I decided when I came home here in the Philippines and I saw that the people were playing pickleball like tennis. I said maybe I should take up coaching and teach how to do the soft play. And then that's how it started. And I wanted to help. It's like an advocate to promote pickleball and at the same time help people, especially players and trainers of other sports, to have an additional revenue. So when I got into coaching, I coached here and now I have Gshot, which is my name, Ginny. And then I was thinking like Gshot. And I was thinking, what's a word that we use in pickleball? And it's the shots, like third drop shot or the drop shot or dinking and whatever. So that's the history of Gshot.
So, how big is the pickleball community in the Philippines?
The pickleball community is quite big already, but a lot of people still don't know about it, but it's already out in the media. So it's getting to be really popular. Like you said, it's the fastest growing sports. And I think most of the communities in Metro Manila have pickleball courts because it's just like basketball courts that are converted into pickleball courts. And since badminton has been here for a long time, we also use the same size. So we just put another tape or line in front. That's the only difference.
Is pickleball hard to learn or is there a learning curve?
Actually, pickleball is so easy to learn. You don't have to have a background sport. It's just, of course, if you come from tennis or ping pong and badminton, it's easier or any racket sport to learn because the connection between the paddle and the ball is hard for people without racket sport experience. But overall, it can be easily learned.
So, can older people learn it? Is there a recommended age?
Actually, no. I think with older people, like in the States, it's the retired tennis players, maybe until 80 or even more. Because I think the oldest that I've seen who really beats the ball and everything and plays well is about 80 years old. But with kids, it's advisable at least like 12. But here in the Philippines, we are already starting them as early as 6. So nothing is impossible.
So, coach, there are different types of balls in pickleball. Could you explain to us what the different types of balls are?
There's 2 balls actually. The basic is the indoor ball, which has bigger holes. It has 26 holes, and the outdoor balls is the 40 holes, and the holes are a little smaller, yeah.
Any tips for beginners? But first, like, what is the damage to the wallet here?
To the wallet.
Yeah, how much?
Actually, when I started, I thought pickleball was really cheap. But it comes out like, because I play in the US outdoors and I like to dress up with the matchy-matchy and the shoes and everything. The paddle alone is very expensive. But, just to start, you can get a paddle for maybe $30, like 1,500 or maybe even less. It started here 2016. They were just using wooden paddles. They just made it. So, and it started that way. But because of the fashion, everybody wants to get this brand. It can go up to like $350 for a paddle, but it can go as low as maybe $20. So it's really up to you. I don't advise people to be buying expensive paddles when they're just beginners because you still have to feel what goes with your skills and your drive, like the weight. There's a difference between the weight and the thickness of the paddle. So if you're a banger, usually a 16 mm would be good for you. But if you're like a light and you have like injuries in the elbow, maybe a 14 mm. And there's also a brand that is for people with tennis elbow.
And then, of course, there are different techniques and practices when you are a beginner. Are there things that you want to advise first-time players or someone who has not held the pickleball paddle and the ball before?
Well, the first thing is just to research first in the YouTube. There's a lot, just Google pickleball so you have an idea of how to play it because a lot of people who gets interested with pickleball know a lot about pickleball before coming to the court because they want to make sure, right? But it's best that you look what the paddle looks like, what the ball looks like, And maybe you can just watch first people playing, and then eventually you can go into a class. There are clinics for free. And, even friends, they can teach you how to play it. But I suggest you do the intro because, like, we teach the basic shots in the basic form, the different kinds of grip, and then your footwork is very important. And then we also remind the players to wear the proper shoes and then stay hydrated. Because, like, sometimes you get into doing something, like when you get into pickleball, it's addicting. You tend not to drink. And especially for older people, it can cause vertigo or whatever, high blood. And at least if you're being coached, the coach knows when he can still push you and when he can say rest and, take a break.
You mentioned shoes. Let's talk about shoes. A lot of people make mistakes on buying or using shoes that aren't meant for lateral play or sports. So a while ago, talking to someone who was using running shoes, which is not good. Even tennis players play with tennis shoes. So are there any recommended types of shoes that beginners should buy before playing?
If you're just going to play, I just suggest that you use regular rubber shoes with the lace and with like a protection in front. No thin, sole, and no thick sole, because like it's lateral, so you can trip if it's too thick, and if it's too thin, you might develop Achilles tendonitis or plantar fasciitis. And if it's too loose, also like the slip-ons, you might get into an accident. I think running shoes. There are different kinds of running shoes. There are running shoes that can be like. We have Nike, Adidas that are okay for as long as they have that support in front. So when you lunge, your foot doesn't slide. Other than that, the best is tennis shoes still. And when you're using the court that is wood, I suggest the indoor gel type shoes.
So, Coach, where could we reach you if people want to get coached on pickleball? Are there social media pages that you handle?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, Gshot Pickleball Training Camp. And then you can also reach me through my own Facebook is Ginny Poblete. And then you can email us at ginnyregner@yahoo.com. And the number is 0906-491-4545.
Okay, so thank you, Coach Ginny, for this interview. And for more updates, please follow our pages. And of course, Coach Ginny on her social media pages. Thank you.